first video, and I'll be doing a range of subjects from cars, musical equipment, radio controlled cars, fixing stuff around the house, lots of different things. I just want to share it because not everybody knows how to do everything, and there's always something you can find that helps people, and that's why I'm doing this. Today I'm covering laser printer cartridges. These are mostly designed to be disposable, although the mechanical components still have a lot of life left. It's just the toner powder runs out. Again, some of them have a separate developer to the toner. They're small work centres. I'm working on a Xerox 3220 tabletop A4 work centre. They generally have the developer mixed in with the toner. Now, if you buy one of these cartridges, you're looking in excess of £50–60. You can buy a toner kit from ES Service on eBay. That's I'm in the UK, but this I think is from Europe. I think it's from Poland or somewhere. You get some gloves with it, although I generally go for heavy duty gloves. These always seem to split for me. You get a face mask, which I advise you to wear throughout this process, as toner is very carcinogenic, and this just stops you inhaling any dangerous particles. Toner bottle, just a straightforward little bottle of toner powder. There's enough in there for one charge of a cartridge. Now, like I say, these cartridges are designed to be disposable. They have a chip on the front. This connects to the printer when you install the cartridge, and it performs a range of functions. The first thing it does, it keeps an expected count in there. 5,000 pages, 3,000 pages. It counts it off the revolutions of your drum, works out how many pages you're counting, and then basically when it reaches its life expectancy, it'll warn you of low toner. On some printers it will actually stop the machine, so you won't be able to use it till you buy a new cartridge. The other thing it does as well, it sometimes interacts with your computer. If you've got a driver on there that warns you of toner low situations, and you can buy a chip on its own. Again, you can find these on eBay or other online places, and you can just replace a chip and hope you've got a bit more toner in there. I generally think for this price, for this kit, it's £5 for the kit. That's the chip, the mask and the toner. £4.50 postage, but it gets delivered safely. So basically for £10 you're saving yourself a lot of expense on £50–60–70 for a new cartridge. One thing to bear in mind when doing this, if you look at the drum, they're usually green or blue. It's a photo-optic drum, and it stores light. If you keep it in prolonged sunshine or even in strong light in a room, you will find that where it is exposed to the light, you will have a light patch in your print, and the drum is useless. Majority of cartridges, the drum has a lot of life left in it, although it's not endless. It will start to degrade at some point. The key with those is trying to keep them out of light as much as possible. Cover it with a piece of tissue paper or cloth. You can stick a piece of tape across the top, and then underneath you want a nice soft cloth. You don't want it on a hard surface, because again, if you scratch the drum, you will end up with lots of little black marks on your print. First thing you've got to do, and again this applies to all toner cartridges, but there are slightly different ways of taking them apart. This is for a Xerox 3220, or it's compatible with some Samsungs. First thing you want to do is, on each side of the printer cartridge, you've got a plate. This, in some cases, holds in the OPC drum. It holds in the rollers, developer rollers, the toner rollers, and the blades. Now, it depends on what type of cartridge you've got. You might have a toner hopper on the left side. You might have the toner hopper access on the right side. On this particular cartridge, it's on the right side. On some, again, this top cover for the toner cartridge is removable, but on here it's glued into place because it's designed as a disposable unit. On this cartridge, we've got 3 screws, which you just simply take out to access the toner filling hole. There is a small plastic clip on the top as well, which you need a very small flat blade screwdriver to pop that out. Now I'm going to show you today how to refill the toner without stripping the whole cartridge down. It is a double-edged coin, or a double-edged blade, so I should say. You're risking damaging the components, breaking screw holes on certain components of the cartridge if you strip the whole thing down. There's a blade that gauges, it's set in microns, and the blade gauges how much toner actually ends up being put onto the paper. If you upset that positioning at all by the tiniest amount, all of your developer will exit through that hole and your cartridge will be never usable again, and it will probably wreck your printer. So if you can do it this way, I'd advise it, to be fair. Right, I've taken those 3 screws out and I've got this little clip in here, just there. Just press down, you can see it pops out. I'll cover the drum from that side with some tissue paper to keep it out of the light, and I'll take this end plate off. Okay. See all metal contacts in there. This one, don't clean it off. They have some grease on this contact. As the drum spins, it does make contact with it, but it also prevents wear if there is a bit of grease on that contact. As soon as it starts spinning, it will make contact. Put that down to one side. See, here is like a plug. Now these, it's very difficult to remove them without damaging them, because they are manufactured to be disposable, so they're not manufactured so that for that to be removable. But what you need to do is put your screwdriver into the soft plastic on there, dig it in, and then prise it out. And sometimes you have to do it from that side and then that side. As you can see, I previously levered this out. That plastic is distorted. That's how careful you've got to be. Now if you lift that plug out, you see in there's a big cavity there that goes directly into your toner cartridge. What I advise is that you get a hoover or outside into a plastic bag that actually does come with this kit as well, I forgot to mention that, and turn the cartridge on its side and tap the cartridge up and down until all the black powder has come out of it. Wear your breathing mask while you're doing that, because that's the point where you'll probably inhale dangerous particles. Once you've tapped out as much toner as you can, it's time to fill the cartridge back up. So I'll go and tap this toner out and then carry on the video. All the toner out of there. Right, like I said, it was a double-edged blade if you strip the whole unit down. The benefit of stripping the whole unit down is that if you get some isopropyl alcohol on a lint-free cloth, you can wipe the drum clean, you can wipe the ends and re-grease them. You can also get onto the rollers, you can clean your toner roller off if need be. But what I find with many cartridges, especially if it's the first time you're going to replace the toner in it, you can get away with just doing what I've done, tap the toner out and then refill it with the ES Service toner bottle. Now I've got most of that toner out, I just want to make sure there's no excess toner around the lid. Try not to drop any tissue or anything inside the hopper, or you will have to strip the whole thing down. You can always wear gloves and wear your face mask when you're doing this work, because even if you don't think you need it, you might drop the cartridge, a plume of toner powder will come out and it's not very good. Again, you want to do this very slowly, and you want to perform to get like a little mushroom cloud of toner, which again you don't want. What you do is tilt the bottle, just tap it lightly with your finger, like so. Put the bottle a bit further in. Tap it on the ledge inside. You can see by doing it like this, you're generating very little toner dust, which is the aim of the game really. Give the bottle a light squeeze as well. It can settle inside, and turn it round, quarter of a turn for every squeeze. Right, that's all the toner out of the bottle. Again, take your tissue paper to wipe out any excess toner, because toner will act as an abrasive if it gets into the gears and bearings or bushes. Likewise, paper dust. If there's an excess of paper dust on your cartridge while you're doing this, just clean it all off. Isopropyl alcohol, you can use a screen wipe, something like that. Because paper dust, again, is an abrasive. It will wear the OPC cartridge out as well as your bushes and bearings. Now that toner's in there, got the old plug. You have to make sure this is installed correctly, because you don't want it to pop out when your cartridge is back in your printer. Right. Just make sure that's installed with a handle of a small screwdriver. Press down lightly, make sure it's not going to come out. That's nice and tight. Next thing you want to do is just look where the drum spline is and where contact points are, where that black grease is, and the roller below the drum. Don't be rough with this, because the contacts are very, very delicate. Yeah, that clicked into place nicely, and then you just put your 3 screws back in. If you forget which recesses the screws go into, just look at the other side. It's a mirror image of the other side. Don't over tighten these screws, because you will break the casing of the cartridge. Just as soon as you feel the screw tighten up, another quarter of a turn, and that'll be enough. This next stage a lot of people don't do, and it's one of the most important stages, second to putting the toner in and wearing your face mask. The toner I poured in there will now have gathered all around this end. If I put this straight into the printer and print, it may work okay for a few pages, and you'll get a gradient fade diagonally across the page, because all of the toner is not distributing over the developer roller equally. Best way to do this, softly with the handle of a screwdriver, give the toner cartridge a bit of a shake, tap it down to the other side, lean the toner cartridge back towards you, and then tilt it to each side, and then tilt the cartridge forward towards the direction of print. You usually have an arrow, like on this one on top, towards the direction of print. That basically is a guide to which way you install the cartridge as well. And finally, put the cartridge, give it a good shake again, forwards and backwards, left and right. Put the cartridge level, tap all the way across. Right, final thing we've got to do before we install the cartridge is the chip. Now, like I say, with this kit from ES Service, you get the toner chip. Again, it basically counts the amount of pages you do. It can initiate a message through the print driver to warn you that your toner is low. It can also stop the printing process on some printers. Other printers let you carry on. The more modern printers, more or less, you have to buy a new cartridge before you can carry on printing. So, I have to remove it. Sometimes you get these held in with one screw, one small Phillips screw or a small Torx. Others are glued in. I suggest for that you're very careful. Use a scalpel to cut through the glue, and you'll generally find the plate will lift out. You can change your chip, and then you just have to use a bit of super glue, one or two dots, that's all, to hold it in place. On this one, there's two locators there, and two little clips holding it on the front there. So what I'm going to do is pull those two clips up, lift up the chip cover, and lever it out very carefully with a small flat blade screwdriver. Lift the chip out, again wearing your glove, and then get your replacement chip. If you look at where the contacts are, and you usually have a cutout like you do on a SIM card, just match it up with the other chip and place it in on its locating surfaces, which on here is two small pins at the back. Make sure that fits flush in there. Take the plastic cover. Firstly, you want to line up the two pins at the back, and then clip it down like so. Now that cartridge is all ready to go and hopefully last another 5,000 pages.